going on, boys? In this video, I'll be breaking down how I was able to lose 20 pounds without losing any muscle. The picture on the left, I was 160 pounds, and the picture on the right, I was 140 pounds, right? When losing weight, a lot of people are scared to, look smaller. They're scared to lose muscle, right? And in fact, when I lost weight, I was able to maintain my muscle and even build more. So I looked bigger when I was 140 pounds compared to when I was 160 pounds. And I'll be showing you guys exactly how I did that with a step-by-step guide, right? So let's get straight into the damn video. Step one is to go within a calorie deficit. You hear this all the time, but you can't lose weight unless you're within a calorie deficit, right? You need a slight moderate deficit. If you cut your calories way too low, you'll lose a lot of energy, you will lose a lot of strength, and when you're not building strength, when you're losing your strength, that means you're losing muscle. And obviously, we don't want to do that. So instead, I want you to cut your calories by 300 to 500 calories, and you should be aiming to lose 1 pound per week, maybe 1 to 2 pounds. If you're, a little bit heavier and, you have more body fat on you and you're losing way more weight than 1 pound per week, it's fine. But if you're really, really lean, then it might be a little, scary thing to be losing too much weight, right? So here's a little tip. Make sure you are tracking your progress every single week so that you can adjust your calories accordingly with, cutting it down by 300 to 500 calories. If you don't know how to find your calorie maintenance, this is exactly how you do it. This is the TDEE calculator. You put in your age, weight, height, and activity level. Always leave your activity level as sedentary. You might say, I work out here and there. I go for walks. Trust me, man. Just leave it as sedentary. And as soon as you put in all of your stats, obviously there's only two genders. You don't need to put in your body fat. You'll get your maintenance calories. This right here is your maintenance calories. That's the amount of calories your body needs to maintain its weight. So if you're 160 pounds or you're 180 pounds and you get a maintenance calories, that's the amount of weight. That's the amount of calories you need to stay at that same weight. So you can either go the maintenance route or go down the route of cutting your calories by 300 to 500 calories. And that's how you find your calorie deficit. Step two is to have a high protein diet. If you're not eating at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, you're asking to lose muscle. You're asking to be skinny fat. You're asking to be sloppy, right? So please, for the love of God, please eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I'm not too sure why I copy and pasted the same thing right here. My fault. But making sure you're eating 1 gram of protein. If you're 150 pounds, I know I'm Asian, quick math, 150 grams of protein. Boom. If you're 180 pounds, eat 180 grams of protein, right? A lot of people tend to say, oh yeah, you can go away with eating 0.7 grams. You can go away with eating 0.8 grams. Yes, you can, but having your protein higher will make you more full and make you more satiated. And when you're eating on a lower deficit and lower calories, it's always better to have your protein high, right? These are the different sources of food groups. I think this is an AI picture. I'm pretty right? It's obviously AI picture, but you have regular red meat, you have tuna, you have fish, you have eggs, you have cheese. All of these protein sources are a good source of protein. If it had a mom and dad, like a freaking pig, a cow, chicken, if it had a mom and dad, then go ahead and eat it. But if it's like some processed raising Kanye's or raising canes, don't eat it, right? Like, yes, you can go away with eating that, but it's gonna be more calorie dense, more processed, making you not as satiated and full. So just eat whole foods 80% of the times, and maybe 20% of the times, go ahead and have some McDonald's. Go ahead and have some, raising canes. I love raising canes, but as far as protein, you might be asking, why do I need protein? You should already know why you should be having protein, but it helps you retain your muscle and build more. It boosts your metabolism a bit, just slightly. Now, don't be like, oh, he said boost, bro. Just slightly. It has the highest thermic effect on your food, and it keeps you, like I said, keeps you more full, more satiated. Eat 2 pounds of grass-fed ground beef and tell me you're not full. You can't, right? You'll always feel full whenever you eat high protein. Um, yeah. Step three is to train with intensity. The best way to know that you are actually maintaining your muscle mass is by, tracking your progress and seeing whether or not you're adding more weight, getting more muscle, right? Because if you're building more strength, all that means is you're building more muscle, because how else are you getting the strength, right? So as far as progressive overload, a lot of people tend to, overcomplicate it. All you have to do is every week you want to add more reps, more weight, or more sets. Wait, more sets, more weight, or more reps. Perfect, right there. So for example, let's say this week I did 225 pounds. I can't even bench that. Let's say I did 225 pounds for 4 reps, right? Imaginary 4 reps. And then the next week I did 225 pounds for 5 reps. That's progressive overload. Or the next week I do 230 pounds. That's progressive overload. Or the next week I do the same weight, same reps, but I add another set. That's progressive overload, right? And if you're wondering how do I track my progress, you can honestly use like a journal, a regular notebook, or my favorite right here, the Strong app. I just started using this app like a couple of months ago. My pull-ups are getting stronger. My everything's getting stronger because I've been tracking my progress. So yeah. Now that you're cutting, you should still be training the same way as if you're bulking and trying to put on muscle. What I mean by that, it's by training with intensity, right? That doesn't mean just because you're cutting to just start doing 4 sets of 12 reps to tone up the muscles, or 15 reps to tone up the muscles, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about pushing your sets near or to failure to make sure that you're growing and maintaining your muscles, right? So most of my workouts are around 3 sets. I don't do 4 sets, maybe 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 9 reps, right? My sets are most of the times, or 99.99% of the times, they are high intensity, meaning the last rep, I genuinely couldn't do another one, right? I couldn't do another rep. Or maybe I had a spot, right? Maybe one of those. And as far as the workout split, regular push pull legs. On push day, you're hitting your chest, tricep, and shoulders. So you could do 2 chest workouts, 2 shoulder workouts, and 2 tricep workouts, right? On your pull days, you want to do back and biceps. I usually do 3 back workouts and 2 bicep workouts and 1 rear delt exercise, which is the back of your shoulders, your rear delts. And as far as legs, fuck legs, man. Skip that shit. I'm joking. I'm joking. Hit your legs, right? Hit your quads, your hamstrings, your calves. As far as these workouts right here, you can actually get away with doing these workouts. I personally don't do it with you know, these specific workouts. I have it all on my page on Instagram on how I structure my workouts. But just do regular push pull legs. Just to recap, push is hitting your chest, tricep, and shoulders. Pull is hitting your back and biceps, and legs is hitting your legs. And you could, make this a 6-day split. You can do push pull legs, or you can do push on Monday, pull on Wednesday, and then legs on Saturday, right? 3 days out of the week. You can always just mess around with it. And then as far as step 4, get minimum, please, 10,000 steps a day. Minimum, right? Look at these people, they're walking, getting their steps in. Crazy thing is, my grandma probably gets like 10,000 steps a day. She always like walks back and forth. If you guys, like I said, follow me on my Instagram, you guys would see. But my grandma walks like 10,000 steps a day. I think. I think I'm pushing it. Maybe not 10K. She's getting older, but 10K steps a day burns about 300 to 500 calories, depending on how much you weigh. Maybe if you're heavier, they'll probably burn more than that. But you know, um, hold up, let me fix this. Yeah. So I don't get 10,000 steps a day just because of the calories burned, right? Because if I wanted to burn a lot of calories, I'll just maybe eat less food, right? But I only get 10K steps a day every single day simply because it's easy. It's low effort, right? Getting your steps in is not that hard. After you eat your meal, you go for a walk. You go walk your dog, right? And the thing is, everybody can do it, and you can do it every single day without needing crazy recovery, right? Compared to like if you were running, playing a sport, you had to do sprints, your joints would start hurting, right? It's not that fun to go for a run and jog in the hot sun. Maybe you like it. If you like it, then go ahead. But me personally, I don't like it That's why, just getting my steps in works the best. And I hated the treadmill, right? I used to always preach, go on a treadmill with the incline with, 2.5 speed. But honestly, I hated it, I might still do it here and there, but getting 10K steps a day, every single day, is the number one thing that I can do consistently, right? And I love it. I don't hate it. So here are some ways that you can add more movement on your day-to-day basis. Park further away from the gym, at work or at the store. Take the stairs instead of the elevator or the escalator. Walk while you're on phone calls, right? Whether you're at meetings, you're at work, pace back and forth, like what my grandma does, pace back and forth while you're on the call. And also take 5 to 10 minute walks right after a meal. It also helps with digestion. And if you guys didn't know, going for a walk out in the sunlight lowers your cortisol, and cortisol is the stress hormone. So you'll be less stressed. Walking will make you less stressed. Wow. Step 5 is to get some sleep. I was getting at least 8 hours of sleep. Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, I was getting about like 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep. Some days, obviously, I'm not perfect. I probably stayed up all night, but most of the times I was getting 8 hours of sleep. Sleep is honestly the most slept on tool for fat loss. No, like literally. But if you're sleep deprived, you'll feel tired, feel weak. You'll lose more muscle than fat, and you'll have a slower fat loss. But if you're getting your sleep recovery, you'll work harder at the gym. You'll have more energy. Everything, yeah, right. There's no like I shouldn't be explaining sleep to you guys, but get at least 8 hours of sleep. And step 6 is to master your mindset, right? Start becoming a process based person and not a results based person. Results based people, they judge themselves based on like how much weight they lost. They judge themselves based on the scale or how much strength they gained, right? If they lost some weight on a certain day, yeah, oh my god, they're so happy, congrats, lost weight. But if they didn't lose weight that day and the weight stayed the same, they're sad, it ruins their day. You shouldn't be that type of person, right? Being a results based person, you'll feel happy some days you won't, right? And you'll judge your days based on that. The thing is, losing weight, your scale isn't always going to drop, right? There's going to be days where it fluctuates a bit. So what you want to do is become a process based person. You want to focus on your inputs, right? Did you track your foods today? Did you hit the 10K steps like I told you guys? Did you go to the gym, etc., right? Focusing on these, three little things and, other things, and judging your day based on that, that's how you should do it, right? If you got 10K steps, tracked your food, went to the gym, oh, that's a win for the day, right? Because I did all of that. And at the end of the day, right, the person who loves walking will also always make it further than the man who loves the destination. So, fall in love with the process, become a process based person, and don't always focus on the outcomes, right? Because you can't really control that. But what you can control is your inputs and what you can do on a day to day basis. So here's your game plan. If you guys weren't taking notes, here's a nice little notes that you guys can take. Go on a slight deficit, 300 to 500 calories, to make sure that you're not, losing muscle while you're on a deficit. Eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Oh, you can get away with 0.7. Shut up. Do 1 gram of protein. It's not that hard. You weigh 150, eat 150. You weigh 200, eat 200 grams, right? And then lift with intensity. Stop doing the 4x12s. Stop doing freaking 4x15s to tone up the muscles. Make sure your sets, you can do like 2 or 3 sets and push, your reps should be about like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 reps around there. And your last rep should be near failure, meaning you couldn't do one more, or you had just one more left in the tank, right? And like I said, get 10K steps a day, 8 hours of sleep. Doesn't really matter what time you sleep as long as you're getting the 8 hours of sleep, right? But my bedtime, honestly, I try to sleep at 10, 11. Not too sure if that's too late, but it's been working fine with me. Glad you guys stayed this long, because if you want to get better sleep, supplement yourself with some magnesium glycinate, and also have some blue light blocking glasses. I have them right here. Blue light blocking glasses, 30 minutes before bed. Those two things, magnesium and blue light blocking glasses, will improve your sleep drastically, right? And last but not least, track your progress with MyFitnessPal, the Strong app. And then, like I said, guys, become a process-based person. And if you want a transformation just like this, if you're, very out of shape, you have low confidence, you can't look at yourself in the mirror, and you want to look like this guy now, and you want to make this transformation for yourself, click the link down below. It'll show you guys a full guide on how I did this and other people that I've also helped. Or you can also book a call with me down below to see how I could help you. And looking forward to speak to you guys. Peace.